From the Allen Media Worldwide Headquarters Studios, high atop 2 Turtle Creek, this is Deconstructing Dallas. Greetings, everyone. This is your host, Ryan Trimble, joined today by the healthy, wealthy, and wise Sean Williams. Sean, good day to you, sir.
Healthy, working on it. Wise, I try. That wealthy part, man, still working on that. But I do appreciate you speaking that into the ethos, into the universe,
right.
Because maybe some of that wealth will head my way.
Yes, but health, for sure.
Yeah, health. I mean, we are in a really great position because we're working with a new group. We have been doing some work with Fido Cliff and Lighthouse Wellness, and they are hosting Shop Talk, a men's health forum coming up. And that's something that I have invited you to. That's something that Dr. Brian Williams will be a part of, a friend of our show who is always engaging us in social media. And so we're here to ask folks to let all the men that you know, let them know about this event. It's something that you can find on Eventbrite. If you search for Shop Talk, you will find the event there.
I would like to come and talk shop with you gentlemen. Sean, tell us when it is.
So Shop Talk is going to be on June 1st. That is a Saturday, June 1st, and it is going to go from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Thurgood Marshall Rec Center. And in case your Google Maps is not working or some such, you can find it at 5150 Mark Trail Way in Dallas.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. I'm again proud of you for leading the charge on this event. It's going to be a great lineup, including one of the speakers is going to be our guest today on the podcast.
Yeah, we've had a chance to talk to former Dallas Cowboy great Timmy Newsome. And he is now a successful businessman, successful entrepreneur. We'll hear about that. But when he came in, he looked like he still could probably do, 15, 20 carries a game?
Yeah, no kidding. The guy's in impeccable shape. He looks great. Great guy. Our first Dallas Cowboy on Deconstructing Dallas, Sean.
Yeah, and he talked to us about his workout routine, all the sports that he's into, and I was very impressed by that in and of itself. But here we are a little bit of time later, and now he's going to be a speaker at Shop Talk, the Men's Health Forum. And so, we'll hear a little bit from him and about his career and about what he's been doing since he left the NFL. But, if you want to see Timmy Newsome and if you want to hear him, you can come out on Saturday, June 1st and hear him at the Men's Health Forum. And our partners, like I said, we are partnering with the group who is sponsoring this and hosting this, which is Fido Cliff and Lighthouse Wellness. Shout out to Anja Sanders. Shout out to Sherry Doucette, who both have been affected because both of their husbands died of cancer, and they had a heart to make sure that men go to the doctor, get checked out, talk about health, and that's exactly what's going to be going on June 1st.
Well, it's really important, guys. Take care of yourselves, man.
And for those who don't know Dr. Brian Williams, well, first off, hurry up and get to know him because he has accepted a position in Chicago, and he'll be heading out there. And I hate to lose him to another city, but I think Chicago will definitely be able to benefit from what he brings. So Dr. Williams is going to be speaking from the subject of resilience, 6 concepts you should know to thrive. So I'm really excited to hear how we can become more resilient. Mayor Pro Tem Casey Thomas is going to be speaking. And again, we'll hear about surviving stroke. American Heart Association has provided Angelo Keys, who will be talking about surviving stroke. We'll even talk about financial health. And so there'll be a debt reduction. And here it comes back around in a wealth building seminar.
That's right.
From Latoya Edwards on the 1st. And then Timmy Newsome will be closing out the day. And we also were very fortunate and can let everyone know, all the men who will be there, that there will be lunch served at the event.
That's right. Our friends at Walmart at Ledbetter and 35, Corey Russell, big thanks to him. He suggested keto wraps. We were saying, hey, Corey, can you guys do some sandwiches and some fruit for us for this health forum? He said, oh, yeah, absolutely. Keto keto wraps, baby. That's what we're doing. So get excited. Get your keto wrap at the forum.
Well, please, again, let all the men that you know, let them know about this event. And please sign up on Eventbrite. Again, you can search for Shop Talk, a men's health forum on Eventbrite. It's free, a free event, but we do want to know that you are coming so that we can make sure that we are prepared. And, Ryan, it has been a minute since we've had a chance to produce this podcast, but it's not because we have not been busy, double negative there, with podcasts.
That's right, Sean. We have taken on a new adventure, I should say. It's been producing Mad, the Phil Romano story, a new podcast based on the book The Mad Entrepreneur.
I said like a man who said that 20,000 times because Ryan is the host of the podcast, which is really cool. For those of you who have not checked out Phil's book, The Mad Entrepreneur, I would suggest you get a copy at philipjromano.com. It tells an amazing story from the time that his grandparents immigrated to the United States all the way up into his venture at Trinity Groves and everything in between. And this podcast that we produce are just snippets of that. But right now there are 3 episodes available on iTunes, on Stitcher for sure, and coming to all the other podcast platforms. But you can get your listen on right now and hear this story. And again, our own Ryan Trimble was the host of this podcast. It sounds great.
That's right. Tip of the cap to my co-host here for sitting through hours and hours of me talking. He has to do that enough on a weekly basis, but for the production of this podcast, he served as the executive producer and head of sound design. And so
that still makes me laugh. And also our other counterpart on this was Kristen Welsh, who has been working a lot with Phil and on Phil's book and promoting the book. She makes a guest appearance on the podcast doing the commercial reads. So shout out to Kristen as well.
Kristen's great, and really just grateful for the opportunity. I think we both gathered our inspiration from our friend David Brown from Business Wars, good man, and so thank you for the inspiration to allow us to have a spark.
That's a little tease there.
Set the world on fire,
little
Sean.
Tease. And last but not least, we were also doing a lot of stepping during our time off. We had a couple of you had a couple of step challenges. I only had one. After the first step challenge, I bowed out gracefully.
Gracefully, as in you won and didn't come back. But we kept stepping. It's been a lot of fun. I know all our listeners really enjoy getting our step updates, so thank you, our Fitbit updates. The second week, Sean, when you didn't play, Matt Houston won. Our friend Matt Houston, you heard him here on Deconstructing Dallas. He won, but on the last night, I was way behind. Friday night,
Vinay Hammond was also part of it.
Vinay Hammond was ahead of me. And I decided to go for run a 5K at like 9 o'clock at night just so I could catch up to Vinay. Ended up beating her by 86 steps, and she's really not talking to me right now, Sean. So, Vinay, if you're listening, I'm sorry, kind of. Maybe.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry,
I think is the way
not
the song
sorry.
goes.
That's right. So, maybe we just need to do another challenge.
Yeah, after the holiday, after Memorial Day, let's do that.
That's right. Well, excited to jump into the interview with Timmy Newsome. Good man. Thanks for sticking with us. This is Deconstructing Dallas. Ryan Trimble, Sean Williams.
You know what they say, variety is the spice of life. And if you're looking for spicy, look no further than effin' hot salsas. Hey friends, it's your old pal RT here, and take it from me, if you're looking for the best variety of salsas, jellies, and other fiery concoctions, look no further than Effin' Hot Salsa. Effin' Hot is created with the finest peppers and hand-selected ingredients, and what's even better, Effin' Hot is based right here in Dallas. And if my recommendation isn't enough, get this. Effin' Hot donates 5% of their annual profits to the Special Operations Warrior Foundation. So what are you waiting for? Get to the store and pick up your own jar of Effin' Hot Salsa today. It'll make you say, "That's effin' hot."
Welcome back, Deconstructing Dallas. Ryan Trimble, Sean Williams. Sean, a big day today. Our first Dallas Cowboy legend in the studio with us.
I'm glad you used the word
true legend.
Yes.
Somebody with a really amazing pro football career and also a great business career. I mean, this guy, he's a renaissance man, Sean. He is Timmy Newsome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to join you guys here.
That's great. Well, Sean and I were going over your career highlights, your career numbers, 30 touchdowns. Tell us about your 9 years in the league.
Well, I had somewhat of a meteoric rise into professional football. When I came out of college, I was a runner. Mm-hmm. I didn't block anybody. I didn't catch a lot of passes in college, and when I got here, they switched me to fullback because they had Tony Dorsett, and I wasn't going to carry the ball a whole lot as long as he was the tailback. So they decided to move me to fullback, and I became a receiver and a blocker. And I did run the football some, but it was more in those 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 situations, or on the goal line.
And I would be interested to know, because you were a 3-time Conference Player of the Year recently, which we'll talk about, recently inducted into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. But again, you came here to block. I mean, how was that for you? What kind of transition was that for you?
It was difficult because I kept waiting to run the football, and it never happened. And so Coach Landry called me in after my second year, and he says, "Look, we've got somebody who can run. And we don't need another runner. What we need is somebody that can get us the tough yards, someone who can catch very well, and somebody who can go out there and do the things that are somewhat unorthodox and do all the intangibles." And he said, "If you can do that, then we'll keep you. If you can't, we'll cut you." I mean, it was just that cold. But I learned how to make that adjustment and did it pretty well. And so to pacify me, he gave me a lot of opportunities to catch the football. And so that's what I did.
Sure. Yeah, I saw you had quite a few, 1,200 career receiving yards. I mean, you were doing a little bit of everything.
Yes.
But you were a defensive player in college, correct?
Well, I was a defensive player in high school.
In high school.
And I left high school thinking I would never run the football again. And when I got to Winston-Salem State University, I had every intention of being a defensive player. Coach Hayes, who is also in the Black College Football Hall of Fame, told me he was going to move me to running back, and I was devastated. Didn't want to do it. Because I came out of high school, I was 6'2", 175 pounds. And I left college at 6'2", 240. And I ran a 4.5 40. And so the maturation of going from that to that kind of lent itself to being a running back. But what was more uniquely interesting is that I was projected to play fullback in the National Football League, but never played the position. So they looked at my size and they just thought, this is a natural fit to play fullback. And so that's kind of where I was relegated to. Now, in Dallas, they did use me as a swing guy. I did play some tailback. I backed up Dorsett. But remarkably, I backed him up for 3 years and never started a game. He would never get hurt. And so I never had that chance of carrying that football 20 to 25 times a game during my career.
Your career spanned it from 1980 to 1988, which really is kind of like when my football consciousness came to being. So, I remember, and I think we get lost because of some of the things that happened in the 70s and what happened in the 90s with how good those 80s teams were. You guys went to 3 or 4 consecutive conference championship games. Danny White, underrated. What was it like playing on those teams?
Well, it's interesting. We had a very good group of football players. And in 1980, we weren't expected to do very well, and yet we reached the NFC title game to play Philadelphia Eagles. And we lost that game. And then the very next year, which was really the heartbreaker, to this day I have never seen tapes of that game. We lost to the San Francisco 49ers by 1 point. That was the catch with Dwight Clark.
I shed tears that day.
And I was listening to Joe Montana. They were dedicating a statue for Dwight Clark, who passed away of, I think, Parkinson's or something.